Vaccine mandates have been established in nearly all jurisdictions in Canada, from airports to restaurants to even your local hockey league. You aren't going to access many places unless you divulge proof of your double COVID jab. Now, I don't recall any other time in Canadian history where a citizen has been compelled or even coerced into sharing private healthcare information. But Canadians seem eager to surrender private medical exemption letters to their local bartender or to hand over a document with their private personal details, including one's health card number, to their kid's hockey coach. What's potentially worse, many Canadians are using digital apps to upload their personal medical information or to generate a QR code. And just how secure is our information on these apps? There have already been several reports of hackers getting in and stealing the information. Has your private medical information been hacked, sold, used by someone else? Whatever happened to our charter-enshrined privacy rights? Have those rights been cast aside for the greater good? And what about surveillance, geolocation, and biomedical? Is the government storing data of where you are when you use your QR code or on your personal medical information? Is the government tracking you? Most importantly, will this vaccine passport regime ever end? Or is this the new normal? Well, joining me now to help us understand some of the privacy and security issues surrounding vaccine passports is Dr. Anne Cavoukian, Executive Director of Global Privacy and Security by Design Centre and former Information and Privacy Commissioner for the province of Ontario. And we have joining us Michelle Simard, Senior Legal Counsel and Privacy Officer. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to dive right in. Maybe I'll start quickly with you, Dr. Anne, with what our charter right to privacy entails. And I think that's an important thing to ask because we need to really understand what our rights are and then how they may or may not be being infringed upon. So what is that charter privacy right?
I mean, we have a right to privacy. It forms the foundation of our freedom. We have privacy laws across the country, provincially and federally. You cannot have free and open societies without a solid foundation of privacy. So this is not something that we can just allow to disappear.
But we are allowing it in some regards because, every time we engage in sharing our information, uploading it to an app, are we not infringing on our own right to privacy or we not violating our own privacy?
Let me just tell you what the difference is. If you choose to release your personal information, that's your choice. I always tell people, privacy is not a religion. You want to give it away, be my guest, as long as you make the decision to do so. Privacy is all about control. It's about personal control relating to the use and disclosure of your personal information. So it's up to the individual, the data subject, as to whether they choose to release their information or not. But it's not up to the government.
So we don't need, in a sense, like Big Brother, or no, I should use a better phrase, like a nanny to basically say, no, you shouldn't be doing this. You should know for yourself, this is your right. If you're handing it over, then you've signed on that dotted line.
Exactly. It's up to the individual to make these decisions.
Okay. And I want to get you in here, Michelle, with respect to, I would say, the sudden mass divulgence of private information. And yes, many people are consenting to it. Obviously, if they're engaging it, they are. What is the concern for these rights going forward if so many people are just basically casting them away?
So I think for me, it's this, and it's a common theme for me, is that you mentioned the word consent, that so many people are consenting. So I would take a step back, and I think the issue that we're having right now is informed consent. I think that a lot of people are consenting to something that they're not quite aware of what it's doing, what's happening with it, what are the mandates, what are the requirements, if even the businesses are following the guidance that was given to them by the provincial government. So the provincial government had the Reopening Ontario Act, right? Mm-hmm. And then Health Ontario came out with a guidance for all people and businesses in order to follow to the so-called vaccine passport. But are those businesses following it? Who's monitoring the businesses? Are the businesses being compliant? Because on the mandate and the guidance, it says you're not allowed to collect the personal information. You're not allowed to collect that health information.
Right.
But are they really doing so? And as an example, as a personal anecdote, I went to a funeral last week, and part of the requirement was for me to show my QR code and show proof of an ID. But then when I walked in, they also wanted me to sign a book. That is where I had the issue, where I was just like, it's fine if I just show you my ID and show you my QR code. So you can match the names and see, fine, I'm vaccinated. But then for me to then sign my name, that means now you're collecting my personal information. If your policies are that I only allowed in is if I showed this information, then that means I've now disclosed it to you. So I refused.
Okay,
And
I'm
then-
gonna jump in here. I want to really understand this, but we're gonna come to this commercial break and we'll be right back.